Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 50 Shades of Tay. I'm Taylor Gonzalez, and my guest today is Jadon Cal, who plays Theo in the brand new horror slasher film Stream. Jadon, how are you doing today?
I'm blessed, man. Doing well. Beautiful day out in Los Angeles. Clear skies. It's nice.
But yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to do this with me because I saw Stream the other night and it is so good, and you are really good in this movie. So I'm so excited to speak with you about it.
Yeah. It's weird seeing it so many years later.
What year did this film? It filmed in like 2020.
I was on set in January of 2021.
Oh, wow.
So about 3.5 years ago.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. But yeah,
Yeah.
now that it's finally out, how does it feel that people are finally getting to see all the hard work you put into this?
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's always cool to see a project find its legs and start to move and get traction. Yeah, the horror community I've noticed is very hardcore. Like they are probably the most diehard group of people that watch movies collectively that I've seen from any other genre.
Mm.
So it's cool to be a part of that. And I know everybody loves the Terrifier movies, and yeah, hopefully it was something that people were able to enjoy and take something from. Um, so yeah, I always try to incorporate, you know, something in my own mentality to offer, I guess, through performance.
Yeah, my theater was packed. I think it was like pretty much sold out. I was at the AMC in the Burbank 16, and everyone was very reactive, cheering, clapping. Everyone was really enjoying the film.
So did you go to David's
Yeah, that
meeting?
was so fun.
I see. Yeah.
I,
Yeah,
I really had a good time with it.
yeah, and they've been doing cool stuff. They did the whole coffee shop.
Yeah.
I ended up checking it out later in the day. David was already gone, and I was just staring at all the drink menu and the counter, low stream poster,
Mhm.
and finally one of the cashiers, she was like, "Are you in this movie?" And I was like, yeah, I'm just taking it in. This is really cool to see. Um,
Oh,
so
that's really fun.
yeah, it's cool, man.
How did you get cast as the role of Theo in Stream?
Just like any other role, man, just auditioned. And yeah, I found it on Actors Access back in October of 2020. And it's funny, at the time it was non-union when I got cast. Well, they had me read for Theo, and then I read for Louis or Luis, or I read for him as well. And they kind of bounced back and forth, and they're like, "Oh, well, we don't know yet." And then I ended up getting booked on it, and then it went SAG, I think, because of all the actors that, name actors that were in it. So I got kind of lucky because I wasn't SAG.
But yeah, that's so awesome. Speaking of that incredible cast, what was it like to be on a set and see people like David Howard Thornton, and then there was Tony Todd, Tim Curry? What was it like to just be on a set with all these horror legends?
I wasn't on set with the majority of them because most of my scenes were with Taylor, well, the character Taylor, Sydney, Malakay. So I worked with her mostly, and Andrew, who played my buddy. And then yes, of course, I met David because he was the one that killed. Well, I won't say. Yeah, I worked with him in a scene. Um, but yeah, it was just like any other set. Everybody was just passionate about what they're doing, and just having fun with it.
Yeah, you can tell too, like it really translates on screen how much fun everyone was having making this film. Are you good with all the blood and guts and gore like in these types of films, or do you have to
No,
like look away? No, you're not very
no,
good with it.
I actually I went to the screening yeah, Wednesday night, the opening night, but I went to the Studio City AMC. And yeah, I every time there was like kills, I just was like this. I couldn't even look at it. I think I'm just too sensitive for it, so I couldn't watch it. And I did another slasher a couple years before that called Last of the Grads, where I got decapitated. And after I saw that, I was like, oh my God, man, I don't, yeah, horror, man, and especially this subsect of horror
Mhm.
is, for me, it's hard to watch. I went to I didn't really know of the Terrifier movies when I did this film, and then ended up seeing Terrifier 2 when it came out in theaters, and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then it blew up, and I was just like, you know, I could see why, but it was, yeah, it's tough for me to watch. So
No, it's funny because I do a lot of horror interviews, and half the people I interview are totally on board with it and like it doesn't bother them and they're used to that kind of stuff. And then the other half, they're like, I can't watch. I have to like watch through my hands. So it's really funny to see. It's kind of 50-50 split between how the cast and crew are when it comes to all these gory kills.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, horror was never my first love, I guess I would say. But it's been an interesting experience finding my way through a couple of these kinds of projects.
Oh, very cool. Another horror short that you were mentioning right before we started filming. Did you want to talk about that you just recently put out?
Yeah, sure. It's called Robbie Ain't Right No More. It's a proof of concept, about 17 minutes, potentially a feature film. We hit the festival circuit, and we went to Tribeca with it, and some other big festivals, and it just released on Alter a couple weeks ago, and a lot of people are loving it. I think it got like, almost 100,000 people watching it, and the comments, people are just loving it. And it's about a really, what I love about it is that it's an important message behind it. Sometimes you can even use the genre of horror to elevate a certain message, and it's about PTSD in the Marines, and our writer director was a former Marine, and so it's PTSD kind of magnified through a physical, tangible being that I won't spoil, but it's called Robbie Ain't Right No More.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. I'll make sure to put a link to it in the description of this video so people can check it out.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
So, did you have a favorite memory from being on set when you film stream?
Hmm. Favorite memory. Man, honestly, I just enjoy the experience of meeting new people and traveling to new places, and something that's not even film related for me. Like I would it was, I'm from Florida and Los Angeles. I've lived in warm states. So being up in Pennsylvania, we shot in Gettysburg. It was snowing, and I would just go for runs in the snow in the morning, and I thought it was just the most beautiful thing. Obviously, I had a couple coats on and just like running and just playing in the snow and stuff. That was like honestly one of my favorite things. And yeah, I mean, making a film is always fun, and it was the first, probably one of the, I wouldn't say the first time, but yeah, maybe one of the first features where I got to kind of find something even more outside of myself with a, European character. I'd never thought I would get that opportunity so early in my career. So that was cool.
How did you come up with the accent that you had in the film?
Man, YouTube University. Yeah. It's just, got the audition. I think I spent a day trying to find the accent. And then obviously once I got the gig, I just was working on it. And it's one of those things where you feel like you might just like be jumping off a cliff and it might be the worst thing ever. And you just hope that it translates well and is natural. And looking back, now that I'm like 3 years deeper into my craft, I noticed things that I would change about it. But I mean, it's where I was at the time.
That's a
And
really good way to look at it. I like that.
yeah, so,
That's
but yeah,
cool.
just YouTube. And I would watch like government officials who
Mm.
spoke, with the accent from France, and just kind of hear how natural, normal people, not, I wouldn't watch movies with people with the accents, but
Right.
real people. So yeah, that was my
Well, that's
way.
great. So in the film, without giving too much away, your character has some tickets to a concert, and we won't say whether or not you're able to attend that concert, but I was wondering in real life, what are some of your favorite bands, some of your favorite musical artists?
Oh man, I have a handful. I bounce around to so many different genres. Um, Gosh, I mean, I've been on a big country kick lately, actually. And I've been horseback riding and training. I just did a Western, and I've had another, you know, horseback riding project I've been up for. So I've been listening to a lot of country, like all the way back to like George Strait, and uh, some Johnny Cash, and guys like that. But I also love like rock and alternative rock, Kaleo, and I love Matt Mason. Noah Khan has been one of my favorites over the past couple of years. So mostly guitar based stuff because I play guitar, and so I like to listen to stuff I can play.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then since Stream is a horror film, what are some of your favorite horror films from growing up?
Hmm. Favorite horror films. Oh man, I'm not a big horror buff, honestly. Um, no, Nightmare on Elm Street was a pretty crazy one back in the day. Freddy Krueger, that was a pretty scarring one. And also, well, I guess I couldn't say favorite, but I remember when I saw the original Stephen King adaptation of It, man, that scarred me. I was so young. I must have been like, I think I saw it when I was like 9 or 10 or something. And I also saw this horror movie once called Devil about these five people stuck in an elevator.
Yeah.
And that one, I accidentally broke my mom's rib
Oh
because
no.
I had fallen asleep on the couch and she was, sleeping in my bed, and I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, oh my God, I gotta get to my bed. And I ran in the dark and jumped and kneed her on the back as she was laying there. And I thought she was the lady. I was like, oh my God, it's the grandma. And I just like, so I don't have a good experience with like horror movies. I've gotten scarred.
Oh man. But yeah,
But
Devil,
yeah.
that movie's so underrated. I feel like no one talks about it, but just the idea of putting a group of people in an elevator, like a very small confined space, and then all hell breaking loose, like that's such a good concept.
Yeah, yeah, it's sorry about the planes. It's
That's okay.
yeah, it's interesting how creative you can get with less. And I think they kind of proved that with the Terrifier, the first movie. The budget was so low, and it's not always about the money. It's about, the creativity behind it.
Yeah, no,
So,
that's very true.
yeah.
So I was looking through your IMDb page, and you currently have 7 upcoming projects,
Oh,
including
wow.
The Blue Diamond, Off Rip, and Wake. I was wondering which of these projects are you most excited for audiences to see?
I mean, I'm really biased because I wrote and directed Off Rip. I actually just went to a screening of The Blue Diamond, which is a fun little short. We're premiering in France, early September. I think it's the 3rd or the 4th. And Wake was a really fun drama that is talks about Cuban immigration, and is a history lesson on that a bit. But man, Off Rip, dude, is it's been such a passion project. It's taken me like 4.5 years to get to this point. I wrote the script in 2020 before even getting on stream, and then it took me 2.5 years to get it funded. We shot it in 2023. I'm finishing up post production pretty much through September into October, and then we're gonna do screenings and film festivals. So I'm really passionate about that one, and it's been a journey getting it to this point.
Oh, that's so awesome, though. Congratulations, you're almost there.
Almost,
Very
almost.
exciting. So, I know you've done several genres of film. Is there a genre that you haven't experienced yet or acted in yet that you would like to try out next?
That I haven't done yet. I would say sci-fi adventure is I haven't quite done in a feature film version. I've done some sci-fi short form stuff. But man, like a Ready Player One or something big and grand like that, I grew up loving fantasy and sci-fi. So I know a lot of it sometimes is CGI, of course, but it would still be really fun just to go into that world. That's just my favorite kind of story to go into. I love escaping into other worlds. So something like that.
Yeah, that'd be very cool. I love that as well.
Yeah.
But Jane, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me, and congratulations on all the success and all your upcoming projects. Where would be a good place for people to come and follow you to keep up with all of your upcoming films?
Yeah, I guess it would be Instagram and YouTube. Jadon Cal, JADONCAL. Um, yeah, I pretty much all I do is just post little updates sometimes. And yeah, I did like a little documentary behind the scenes on Off Rip. There's like 5 episodes on YouTube. So yeah, I guess those two platforms probably the most.
Perfect. I'll make sure to include that in the link of this description as well. But yeah, Jaden, it was so nice to meet you, and I really appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah, it's great meeting you as well.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.